Tonight I was brave again and I picked Meerabhai to talk about. And I always heard about the name Meerabhai, but I never knew the story behind it. So to start off with, Meerabhai was born in 1498 to Ratan Singh. He was the second son of Rao Duraji. They were founders of Jodhpur, so she was born a Rajput princess. Meerabhai was raised and nurtured by her grandfather, and as was customary at that time with royal families, her education included knowledge of scriptures, music, archery, fencing, horseback riding, driving chariots, and she was even taught how to wield a sword just in case they were, ever at war. Meerabhai grew up amidst an atmosphere of total Krishna consciousness because she was born into a Vaishnava culture, which was responsible for molding her life in the path of total devotion to Lord Krishna. At the age of 4, she saw a wedding procession outside their home and she asked her mother, "Who is my bridegroom?" And her mother jokingly, pointed at this Krishna statue and said, "That's your bridegroom." And it was from that point that in her mind, in her heart, in her soul, that was her bridegroom. When she became of age, her beauty was outstanding and many neighboring kingdoms wanted her to get married to their kings. And her father had arranged her marriage with Rana Kumbha of Chaitra in Mewar. She was a very dutiful wife. However, she was very objective to getting married because she said, "I've given my heart, my soul to Krishna. Why do you want me to get married to anybody else?" However, she fulfilled her duties as wife, but once she was done with her daily duties, she went to temple and offered her devotion, her worship. She sang, she danced, she wrote poetry for Krishna. Because to her, he was her everything. However, the family that she married into were Durga devotees. So they were very objective of the time and the devotion that she put into Krishna. So her mother-in-law told her that she needed to worship Krishna, and she let her know, "I have given my life to one. How can you tell me not to do so? How can I not worship him?" And her sister-in-law was also, objective of this, and she started spreading rumors saying that when Meera was going to temple, she was, meeting with other people, and it got the king really upset and angry, and they couldn't understand why she was spending so much time giving her life to Krishna. And they tried to stop her in many different ways. They had many different conspiracies. They, different persecutions. Like some of the ones that I thought was crazy were they sent a cobra in a basket with a message saying, "Hey, here's a garland of flowers for you." And Meera, she daily routine, she would take her bath and she would do her worship to Krishna. And when she opened the basket, it actually turned into a mala of flowers. Another time, they sent her a cup of poisoned milk, and she offered it first to Krishna because with everything she did with love and devotion for Krishna. Everything she said, everything she did was for Krishna. So she offered it to Krishna first, and then she drank it, and it turned into nectar. They even sent, a bed of nails for her to sleep on, and it turned into a bed of roses. Meera, being tortured by her husband's family nonstop, she wrote to Swami Tulsidas and said, "All my relatives trouble me because I move among sadhus. I cannot carry my devotion and practices in the house. I have made Giridhar Gopal my friend and since very childhood, and I'm strongly attached to him. I cannot break attachment now. What should I do?" And Tulsidas replied, he said, "Abandon those who do not worship Ram and Sita as if they are your enemies. Because, the opinion of holy saints is that of the relation with God and the love of God alone is true and eternal." So she kept on worshiping, and then one day the famous Akbar had come to the temple to see her, sing and dance. And he was so moved by her that he bowed and he touched her feet, and he left a beautiful necklace of gems for the Krishna. But then rumors started again, and they went back and they told the king, this guy came and he touched her and he left her this beautiful present. So the king told her, go kill yourself. Go to the river and kill yourself. And of course, being the dutiful wife, she went. And one of the stories I read, it says, and as I say it, all my pores are raising, because just as she put her foot over the water, somebody grabbed her from behind. And when she turned around, it was her Krishna. And at that point, she fainted. And then when she woke up, this was the turning point in her life. Krishna said, your love and devotion for me is never ending. Continue that. I am here with you. I am your protector. I will protect you. And it was at that point that she left the kingdom and she traveled to Vrindavan. She traveled to Dwarka, and she did her poetry and her songs for Krishna. So as time passed, the king realized, okay, maybe she has true devotion to Krishna, and what she does is, with all her heart and sincerity. So he went and he apologized to her, and he asked her to come back to the kingdom. And she said, the only way I'm going to come back to the kingdom is if I can do my devotion. And she lived in the Krishna temple there, and she did her devotion. And as time passed, they realized, okay, there's nothing wrong with what she was doing. So her husband had joined her. And it is said that on one of the Christian Janams, he had told her, come back to the palace and live with us. And while she was dancing, she fell and she hit her head on one of the Krishna murtis. And then she asked him, Gopal, are you wanting me to come? Okay, I'm ready. And the king and all the people there were witness that they say a light from the murti just enveloped her. And that was how she went back to her Krishna. So, it's so crazy that we do things and we don't always put our all into it. And it's like, if you're doing something, do it with your everything. Like, it is said that the continued influence of Meera, in part being her message of freedom and resolve, the right to pursue her devotion to Krishna and her spiritual belief, has drawn so many people. She has taught the world the ways to love God. A lot of people go to temple, and then as soon as they walk out of the temple, it's something completely different. Like, what is the point of going to temple and doing one thing and then leaving and doing something else? One of the sayings that I really liked was, she rowed her boat dexterously in a stormy sea of family troubles and difficulties, and reached a shore of supreme peace. Regardless of all the conflict and all the opposition that she faced, she kept on going. She was very persistent, and that's the word that I chose for her, because she was positioned in her devotion, that with all her might, all her will, all her body and soul, everything that she did was for Krishna. And how that applies to the principle of be the change, I think we need to remember to be congruent, be authentic, be true to yourself. We face challenges and obstacles, but we should never falter in our belief for God. He will get through it with us, regardless of what. I think we need to, I think Tara said this last night about the story that she told. We need to not just make time to do puja, but live it. To have God with us with everything that we do during the day. We have to live our thoughts, live our words, live our deeds, doing the right things. Thank you.